You know, when you think about a church setting or a temple setting, and you think about the things that pastors say, usually what they toe the line and say is that everything is the man's fault. The women can do no wrong. That everything that happens today is man's fault. And though that may be true to a certain extent, what they won't do, they won't hold the women accountable for their evil actions. So when you're in the average church or even the average Hebrew Israelite temple, what you'll hear is that them harking on the men all the time. You'll never hear them rebuke women for anything. But if you read the scriptures for yourself, you'll see that the Bible over and over warns a man against a woman, the heart of a woman. But you won't hear this in the temples and churches today because they have to placate to the woman. They have to make women feel comfortable to receive their tithes and offerings and their money. So they don't want to piss the women off. So you'll never hear these verses I'm about to read in the average church or the average temple today. You'll never hear it. But I want to go through a few of them, let you see something that a lot of you may not have ever seen before. Like I said, you never hear these things read in the church or temple today. Let's read them. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in Apocrypha, chapter 25. I'm going to start at verse 13 and go right into 26. It says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. See, you'll never hear that in the church or in the temple. You just won't hear it. And any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of my enemies. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. And I know it's a lot of you men out here can believe that. You might be living with a wicked woman right now, raising hell, and a lot of you have had this experience in the past, so you know exactly what verse 16 is talking about. The wickedness of a woman change her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. You can see it on a lot of women's face when they be mad and angry and bitter. You can feel that in your ruach. You can see that. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he hear it, shall sigh bitterly. All right. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Now, verse 19 is pretty hard here, and it says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Now, you'll never hear that in your average church or temple today. I mean, they'll die before they read that in there. They're not going to read that. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the age, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. That's another deep one. So that's basically meaning a woman that's always talking, always got something to say. It's like an old man trying to climb up a sandy way. And y'all know what that means as well. Most of these women out here always talking shit, always got something to say. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. Now, that's something us men today have to work on. You have to work on not to look at the beauty of a woman, not to be railed in by that, not to let that get the better of you, so you can be strengthened yourself, so you can get past that. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impotence, and much reproach. All right, that means if a woman taking care of you, she's going to be angry. And as a man, you're not supposed to be letting that happen. You're supposed to be putting in your part, taking care of most of the bills. All right. A wicked woman obeyeth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Once again, many of you men out here know exactly what that means, or maybe have experienced that. You maybe had a woman that didn't comfort you. And because of that, it wasn't a good situation. But this is the majority of women today, right? Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Now that's plain and simple. You know the story of Adam and Eve. You know what happened there. But once again, these things you will not hear in your average church or your average temple. They can't risk pissing the woman off reading this. Give the water no passages, neither give a wicked woman liberty to go abroad. If she go not as thou would have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Once again, 26 is Very plain and simple. Say give her a bill of divorce and let her go if she don't have the way. But once again, they'll tell you that you gotta put up with anything, no matter what she do to you, you gotta put up with it. But once again, in the Bible, we see it says something different. Okay. Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. All right, now it's going back to good women, to a virtuous wife. But we know very few men have this today. Very few women are out there that live up to this description, right? A virtuous woman rejoice her husband, and he shall fulfill his years of his life in peace. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Most High Yahweh. All right? That's plain and simple. You fear the Most High may give you a good wife. That's the only way you're going to get a good wife these days. You're not going to find a good woman out there on your own. They're too wicked. They're too full of hell. The only way you can find anything halfway decent is to rely on the Most High. And maybe after a while, he'll give you something good. But that's the only way you're going to find something. Other than that, it's like searching in, a needle in a haystack situation. Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart towards Yahweh, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. There be three things that my heart feareth, and for the fourth I was so afraid: the slander of a city, the gathering together of a unruly multitude, and a false accusation. Of these are worse than death. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. All right? Talk about a lot of women, how they hate each other, how they, stab each other in the back to get each other's man, and things of this nature. That envy and jealousy that we all very much are familiar with living in this system. An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he has held a scorpion. Well, once again, that's another one that's plain and simple. They say you got an evil wolf, you got an evil wife, that's like holding on to a scorpion, Once again, you'll never hear these things preached in your temple or churches. You're not going to hear this. A drunken woman that a gaddeth abroad causes great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eye legs. Now it says the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks. Most of these women out here are very haughty. They walk haughty. They walk like they shit don't stink. You can't tell them nothing. And their eyelids, they always got some kind of makeup or paint on their eyelids. Once again, that goes back to the fallen angels. The fallen angels taught them how to do that with the eyelids. You can read about that in Enoch. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straight way. Lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. All right, that says right there, if you have a daughter, you're supposed to keep her in a tight leash. You're not supposed to let your daughter roam about in the streets. Something bad happens. She'll end up getting pregnant by some stupid idiot. That's why you're supposed to raise your daughters up in the ways of the Most High. Teach her the commandments so that you give her away and merge. The father's the one that's supposed to give his daughter away and merge. Make sure she get a good Hebrew Israelite Yahweh fearing man. That's how you're supposed to do it. Watch over an impotent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. That one right there, number 11, is very important and very hard hitting. It says, watch over an impotent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. What does that mean? That means don't even be surprised if she betrayed you. Don't be surprised if she turned against you. This is the nature of a female. And this is right in the Bible, but most of you never even read this stuff because the pastors refuse to read this because they don't want to piss the women off. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he has found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every head she will sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. All right, that's plain and simple, man. I mean, she's going to open her ears to every man that come through. And we see that every day, all day out here in this world. That's pretty much what it is. All right? I just wanted to read that real quick to show you that, there's verses in the Bible that tell you the true nature of women. But the pastors today, they're not going to read this because they don't want to piss women off. What they'll do is they'll blame every single thing on the men, no matter what it is. Even if it's good men, they'll blame it on them. I've seen people blame abortion rates that black women have on other black men. Now, how ridiculous is that? Seeing the day that women have total control over their bodies. But this is the nature of the sent mangina world that we live in. The gynocentric Western empire that we live in. This is how it is. You can't even say things like this out in the open without so-called getting in trouble, so-called getting rebuked or reprimanded some kind of way. But yet this is right smack dab in the middle of the Bible, right here in Sirach. Many of you never known these verses even existed. Why is that? Because the pastor's not going to say these things. They're not going to make these women angry in their temples. They're not going to do it. But it's up to us, real men of Judah, to say these kind of things and, talk about this stuff. Because this is real talk right here, man. The Bible tell you what's really going on. But it's sad, the situation that we're living today, man. The majority of men today are straight bitches and simps. Straight up. Straight up. They will go against the word of Yahweh himself to please a woman. And that's sad. But that's the age we're living in. That's how it is. But I just wanted to read that and let y'all know, that the Bible does definitely tell you the true nature of a woman, But once again, you'll never hear this in the church or a temple. They'll die before they read this and piss them women off. But anyway, I will read that. That's it. I'll see y'all next time.